guys, we are out at Canyon Lake today and doing a little bit of journaling, I guess. My daughter is with me and she is doing a little painting, and I will show you guys that here now.
I'm just going to be painting a sun. I got my sun colors, red, orange, yellow.
Nice.
We'll see when we come back.
Yay! This is our view. Hey you guys, so we're gonna start out with a little bit of storytelling today. So have you ever planned for the perfect day only for everything to work against you? Well, that was today. I packed my journal, my paints, my brushes, and headed to the lake. I had this picture in my mind of sitting by the water, enjoying the beautiful scenery and creating a relaxing watercoloring. Well, God had other plans. It was incredibly hot, the kind of heat that makes everything feel heavier. And then came what you see me fighting with this entire video, the wind. Not just a little breeze, the kind of wind that keeps grabbing your papers, blowing your supplies around, and making you wonder if you should just pack up everything, back up, and just go home. Because if you watch closely, you will see the wind pushing me while I'm trying to paint. My pages wanted to close, my brushes were drying out quickly, and every few minutes I found myself chasing something that had blown away. And trying to hold everything down with one hand while painting with the other. Needless to say, this wasn't the peaceful painting session I had imagined, of course. But isn't that life like? Isn't life like that? I mean, how often do we picture exactly how we think something should go? I know I do sometimes. The reality shows up, the weather changes, the plans change, even people change, my mindset changed a little. And suddenly we're just standing in conditions we were not prepared for. I almost laughed because here I was trying to paint this peaceful park view while battling everything around me, yet somehow that struggle became part of the story today. As I look across the lake, I keep noticing how calm the water appeared compared to everything happening around me, but the water was not really that calm. There were water caps pushing through the wind, through the water as well. And the trees were blending, and the grass was dancing in all the directions. The wind was loud, but the lake still reflected the beautiful sky. It reminded me that peace isn't always found in peaceful circumstances. Sometimes peace is choosing to stay anchored while everything around you feels chaotic. That's exactly what I wanted this journal spread to become. Before I left home, I had already drawn the girl on some cooking parchment paper from a few videos before. I love experimenting with different surfaces, and the parchment paper gave her a soft, almost delicate look, I think. I glued her onto some scrap pieces of book paper, which you'll see here later. And just so I had an extra layer behind her. No real reason. You can't really see through the parchment paper. Now, if I would have put her on vellum, you would have definitely been able to see the book pages behind, but I only did that for thicker stability, like a cardstock feel almost. But the top has a different texture, if that makes sense. But I did glue her. I tried to use some wet glue at first, and it just dried way too fast. So I used my sticky wet glue eventually, and that worked. And I love the layers that the old pages bring to mixed media art anyways. And the reason why I had to add butterfly wings to her, which was not planned, is because the wind decided, when I end up doing the tree there on the left, the wind decided it was going to pick up and pull my page and my paint tray over onto my other page, and I got a green big slob on the left side, which you'll see later in the video. But every old page, tells a story. Every life tells a story. Some chapters are beautiful and some are just painful to look at after, like your page turns and makes a huge mess. Some would rather skip, yet God never wastes a single page. Sorry about that, you guys. My notifications are on, so I may get a ding here and there. As I continued painting the background, I focus on, the winding sidewalk, the fence, the evergreen trees, and the peaceful lake, Even though the wind kept interrupting me, I refused to quiet. And sometimes finishing something isn't about perfect conditions. It's about deciding you're going to finish anyways. Then, something happened that I never expected. The wind caught, like I said, one of my tubes. And before I could stop it, that was it. That was it. For a split second, I really thought, seriously, what next? Like, I could have gotten frustrated. After all, I was already battling the heat and the wind. But instead, I took those, cool butterfly wings. I did cut them in half, and I smiled. And, maybe this wasn't ruining my project. Maybe it was going to give me something better. So I did cut out those butterfly wings, and, I cut them in half. And place the wings behind the girl. You guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. I'd really appreciate that. But she wasn't just standing there. She had wings. And if the wind hadn't knocked over the paint tube, those wings could have never have become part of this page. Sometimes what feels like an interruption is actually an invitation. An invitation to see something differently. And that's when these words came to my heart. God doesn't give you the people you want. He gives you the people you need. At first, that sounds difficult because we naturally want, people who agree with us, people who make life easy, people who never disappoint us, people who lift us, or, people who fit us, I guess, into our plans. But God isn't trying to make us comfortable. He's trying to make us He's trying to make us more like him. Yeah. And sometimes he sends encouragers. Sometimes he sends mentors. Sometimes he sends people who lovingly correct us, and that's okay. And sometimes he even allows difficult people into our lives, not to push us or punish us, but to teach us patience, forgiveness, wisdom, discernment, and strong boundaries. Just like today, I wanted calm weather, instead I got heat and wind. I would have chosen these conditions? Absolutely not. Did they make the process harder? Definitely. But they also made the story better. When you watch this video, you're not just watching someone paint. You're watching someone adapt. You're watching someone refuse, give up. You're watching someone work with conditions instead of waiting for perfect ones. And isn't that exactly what faith looks like? Faith isn't waiting until everything is easy. Faith keeps moving when the wind is blowing. Faith keeps creating when things don't go according to plan. And faith keeps trusting when life feels uncomfortable. The butterfly wings are now my favorite part of the entire spread, and I even added another butterfly, which you'll see shortly too. And not because I planned them, but because I didn't. They remind me that God often creates beauty from the very things we never wanted. Maybe today you're dealing with your own strong winds. Maybe they're not literal winds like mine. Maybe they're difficult relationships, financial struggles, health challenges, waiting seasons, disappointments, or even unanswered prayers. If that's where you're at, if that's where you are today, I hope this journal page reminds you of something. The wind may change your plans, but it doesn't change God's purpose. He can use every interruption, every delay, and every unexpected moment, every person He places in your life, even when you don't understand why. So the next time life doesn't look the way you imagine, remember this page. Remember the heat, remember the wind. Remember the butterfly wings that were never part of the original design, but because sometimes the most beautiful parts of our story aren't the ones we planned. They're the ones God gently paints in for us. So, you guys, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. If this story encourages you, I'd love to hear about a time when God turned one of your unexpected moments into something beautiful. Share it in the comments. I'd truly enjoy reading your stories. But until next time, keep creating, keep trusting, and don't let the wind stop you from finishing what God has placed in your heart. So, God bless you guys. And if you guys are curious today, I am using just an old book. You guys, sometimes you can find old books that have, mice have eaten them. You can ask your library, just ask. They have old books that they cannot use. So just ask them and ask your stores too. Okay, so I used my Prima watercolors. I had 3 different sets there. I'm pretty sure I used like a pie one, a tropical, and then the classical. I just kind of used some from each palette. And I also used like my Stabilo All pencil today. I used a gel pen like you just saw me there with some water. I used a Faber-Castell and a Posca pen. I used some paints for my tree. Some actual paint. I'm using some white pen here. It's like a paint pen. I also used some stenciling here shortly. I used the deli paper, parchment paper, whatever, to make the girl, and I used some cardstock butterfly. I cut it in half to make some wings from a Hobby Lobby pack. So if you're curious about that, you guys, let me know down in the comments if you like journaling or if that's something that you do. I just find this fun and enjoying. And I've recently liked a little storytelling with it, just to pass the time while you watch. Yeah, I love it. It's fun. I've been practicing drawing for a while now, and I like how far I've come. So I'm doing a good job. And once upon a time, I did not know how to draw. I drawed very horribly. Sometimes I do draw still horribly and don't show some things. But I did want to end this with, I appreciate you being here if you have watched this far. And at the end of the video, I will show you some more videos you can watch, and don't forget to leave us a comment at least, and let us know where you're watching from. Even if this isn't something you're into, we'd still like to know if you're watching, so we can say hello to you. And I'll see you guys on Roll and Create this Wednesday. I'm super excited. My daughter does leave soon, so she won't be doing that video with me, but maybe another time when she comes, we will see. I am leaving here with some wording that I printed on my printer a long time ago, and just doing some white doodles. And until next time, God bless. We will see y'all soon.
This is my sun. It's all finished. You can have it this way, this way, this way. It looks nice. I love it.